Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hey everybody, welcome back to You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul on USA Global TV and Radio. Good to see you tonight, or good to see me tonight, huh? Hopefully we'll be chatting in. So one quick thing I want to address right off the bat is what we talked about last week and also what's been going on. The NHL charity game has been totally revamped. All the people who bought tickets are going to get their money back. I'm going to refund everybody their money. It is going to be free admission. What we're going to ask you to do is donate canned goods to the WMR, which is a radio station in Philadelphia. They're doing a food drive. We've joined forces with them. They're going to take the canned food and give it to Philadelphia Abundance, I think it's called, the food bank in Philadelphia. So that's going to be the price of admission. I mean, even if you don't bring anything, you can still come in, but we'd ask that you would do that. So there'll be no charge to get in. There will not be a dinner after the game like we were going to do. And what happened was we lost too many celebrities. You can't survive losing 5-6 celebrities and then continue the event. So we are having a charity. It's 4-on-4 hockey. It's going to be, I believe it's going to be 6 teams. So we're going to have a round robin tournament that we think we're still in talks about this. We have a meeting on Wednesday. Phil Abundance, Jacqueline put out there. That's right, Phil Abundance, right? www.philabundance.org. Yes. So that's where the food will be going. Again, you're not going to be paying a nickel for a ticket. There's no dinner afterwards. I mean, if a bunch of people want to go out to dinner, we can find a restaurant and go eat and have some fun. But it's going to be a lot different than what it was supposed to be. I want to thank Frankie James. I want to thank Kevin Pulse and a lot of other people who went through a lot of trouble to get me to save this a little bit. I mean, it's not the same as it was, but it was an inferno and a burning house, and we got half the house still intact. So if it wasn't for people like that, especially Frankie James and Kevin Pulse, this would probably not happen. Vic Vito's another one who was instrumental in getting this up and running. So I'm still wearing the jersey. We're still a charity. The way we're going to make our money, you might be thinking, well, if you're not selling money for tickets or the restaurant, how are you going to make your money? The teams are going to buy in to play in the tournament. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be about $2,000 a team. So it's not going to be a lot of money. We're not going to raise anywhere near what I was hoping. We might raise, if we walk out of there with $8,000-$10,000, I'll be happy at this point. It's better than nothing. And then we'll work on next year and see if we can get things going for next year, or we'll figure something else out. So with that said, the topic of today's show is AI. And I have been in the technology industry now since 1999. So that's 26 years. And I started my own business in 2002. So that's 23 years. And I have never, ever seen any technology take off as fast as what we're seeing with AI. Now, technically, AI has been around for a long time. People think that AI is brand new. It's not. 1997, you had spell check. That's artificial intelligence. And there was a lot of artificial intelligence in it. It was very minor. I mean, think of spell check. You don't think, that's not amazing. No, it's not. But it was artificial intelligence. Or the help, when you'd press the F1 key on the keyboard, it would come up and ask you what your question was, and it had artificial intelligence in it. You type in your question, and it would spit out an answer to you. Usually wasn't very good at the time, but for what for that time in that period of life, it seemed great. It was wonderful. And then we got the internet, and the internet. I was one of those weird, in a weird position, one of those weird students in college, where the first 2 years we had no internet connection whatsoever. There was no internet in 93, 94, 94, 95. My freshman and sophomore year. 95, 96, we got the internet, and 96, 97, my senior year, we had the internet. So I literally was on the cusp of the end of the non-internet life for college students and the beginning of the internet life for college students. So I got to see what that was like. And that grew pretty quickly. Nothing like AI. Nothing like AI. So the question is this a blessing or a curse? And there was a gentleman, I caught the tail end of it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I know the guy's name, because I don't. But he was an expert in AI. He's one of the people who's helped develop it. I can't remember his name. And one of the questions they asked him, I heard the question. The question was, your excitement level, what is it, your excitement level on AI from 1 to 10? And he said, a 10. Great. Right? Who wouldn't want to hear that? That's great. It's wonderful. They said, what is your fear of AI on a scale of 1 to 10? He said, a 10. It's not so great to hear. So now we got to ask ourselves, are we playing with fire? Is this something that is good? And in some ways, it may be. Is this something that is bad? In some cases, it may be. But where is the scale tip? On what side? And that's the question that's most concerning. It's who's governing this? How do you stop it? How do you know what's real? How do you know what's fake? Unless you see people in real life, you have no idea. I mean, literally, this could be all fake right now. I could be a fake person on a fake TV show, on a fake computer, in a fake location, and this could be all not real. This could be all fantasy that you're watching right now. Now, how do you know? Now, I'm not trying to play with your head here, but what I am trying to do is tell you, how do you know? That's what the scary part is. So if somebody puts a hologram of me at a robbery, and I say I wasn't there, I was home, and I was actually home. Well, no, you weren't. There's a video of you at this robbery. Well, artificial intelligence could do that, no problem. It can make me look like I've done anything. I can get artificial intelligence right now and put on YouTube me setting the bench press world record right now, the first man ever to bench press 800 pounds. I could get AI to do that for me and make it look legitimate, like it actually happened, which there's no way in the world it would happen. Not even close. So there are a lot of problems with this, and those are the least of our problems with AI. Now, let's talk about other things. We talk about drugs, and when I say drugs, pharmaceuticals. I'm not talking about street drugs. I'm talking about pharmaceuticals. And one of the ways that we decide whether to take pharmaceuticals or not is side effects versus benefit, right? Cost versus benefit. What outweighs the other? Did the benefits outweigh the detriments? So when I had ulcerative colitis, I took a medication called Imuran. And Imuran has a 1 in 10,000 chance of giving you lymphoma. And a lot of the drugs that you take for autoimmune diseases, you will notice, say the same thing, may cause lymphoma. Now, they don't tell you what the odds are. They just tell you that it may cause lymphoma. That's all they have to tell you. They don't have to tell you what the odds are. I can tell you what the odds are, at least with Imuran. The odds are 1 in 10,000. 1 in 10,000. Those are pretty good odds in my favor that I was not going to get lymphoma. 1 in 10,000. So the doctor explained it to me this way. Dr. George Prieto, who's one of the greatest GIs you'll ever meet at a Jefferson Hospital, saved my life twice. He said to me, so here's how you break it down. You can either not take it, so you don't have the risk of lymphoma, although you still could get lymphoma anyway. Anybody can get lymphoma. Or, well, if you do that, then you will have the symptoms of ulcerative colitis 100%. There's no doubt. It's 100%. You will definitely, without a doubt, have a flare-up that will not go away. Or you can take the chance, take the Imuran, and kill the flare-ups, or at least reduce them to a manageable level. So what choice do you make? Well, of course you make the choice to take the Imuran, because it's 1 in 10,000 that it's going to give you lymphoma, where if you don't take it, it's 100% chance that you're going to wind up with debilitating autoimmune disease. So yeah, you're going to take it. That's why when people watch these commercials and they get all panicky about all the side effects, yeah, they're not going to tell you the odds. They don't have time to go through what the chances are you're going to get of this or that or that. They all have side effects. Food has side effects. Some people eat peanuts and die. So if you think there's a drug out there that doesn't have side effects, you're wrong. They all have side effects. Some of them kill people, some of them don't. Some of them are minor side effects. Some people have no side effects. There's just it's luck of the draw a lot of the time. But when you're playing with odds of 1 in 10,000, you're pretty good. So let's talk about other things that you can do that could be pleasurable. But see, in project management, we talk about risk management. That's part of project management. What could go wrong? And there's a lot of ways to look at it. And two of the ways to look at risk management is, one, what are the odds that this is going to happen? So first of all, if you work on a project with 100 people in your company, what are the odds that something will go wrong, that somebody will be sick and out a couple of days? There's 50, 60 people working on the project. The odds are 100% that somebody's going to miss at least a day of work, if not more. It's inevitable. Or you're going to run into snags where materials are going to come in late. Or you're going to run into any number of things can happen. All right. So, but are they manageable risks? Yeah, they are. If somebody misses a day of work or a week of work or even 2 weeks of work, you could get through. Other people could pitch in. Then that person comes back. They could do a little more. They could work on it at night. You can schedule overtime. And I teach these classes. I teach this to people. So there are risks, and there are 100% risks. I mean, there's no doubt they're going to happen, but they're survivable. Now, other risks aren't. So, for instance, if we go back to 2020 and you were working on a project and then COVID hit and your company closed for months, that project probably was obliterated. Now, were the odds high in January or December of 2019 that there was going to be a global pandemic? No, I don't think anybody had that on their radar, on their bingo card. Global pandemic. That there was not a high risk of it happening, but if it happened, it was going to be catastrophic, and it turned out to be catastrophic. So that's how you try to measure risk. What's the likelihood of this happening? And if it does happen, what can be the damage? What can be the damage of it? So before we get into AI, let's talk about one that we already know about. How about nuclear energy? Now, I couldn't care less about the politics of it. What I'm talking about are the facts. Yes, there are positives to nuclear energy, and positives to, and in fact, I got someone on the phone here that I can't remember them all, but I wanted to bring them up because I think it's important to say that, again, there's good and bad. So bear with me a second here. Just want to grab that page of positives. So some of the positives of nuclear energy, it's renewable. There's less chance of you don't use up as much. The fossil fuels are not being burned. It's better on the environment. It's cheaper. It's more efficient. It runs faster. I mean, there are a lot of positives to nuclear energy, right? And a lot of people say, we got to go nuclear. Nuclear's, it'll save all of our problems. It'll stop everything. We won't have any carbon footprint. It's going to save it all. We're going to be fine. It'll be great. Okay, we'll tell that to the people in Chernobyl. Because when we had the nuclear accident in Chernobyl, that was a complete and utter disaster. Now you might say, well, yeah, it was bad and some people died. And okay, yeah, well, guess what? Pripyat, which is right next to Chernobyl, is not inhabitable for 20,000 years. I'm going to say that again. Pripyat, which is right next to Chernobyl, is uninhabitable for 20,000 years. That means if you remember 3 Mile Island, for some of you who are old enough, I was just barely old enough, 1979. There was almost a meltdown at 3 Mile Island nuclear plant in Harrisburg. Now, luckily, it was averted. If that was not averted, probably Pennsylvania and New Jersey and Delaware and maybe Ohio would have been uninhabitable for 20,000 years. Now, imagine a map without those states in them, where you can't go near them because they're radioactive. And they're not radioactive for 5 years. You can't go in with a hazmat team and just clean them up and say, okay, we fixed it. Everything's good. No, it doesn't work that way. Once it's done, it's done. And for many, many, many generations, it's over. So you got to ask yourself, is nuclear power really worth it? There are positives. Yes, there are positives. No doubt about it. But one accident, one mistake, it's catastrophic to the point of it's epic. You would lose states. Not to mention surrounding states to there that would be polluted. That the meltdown in Chernobyl, I've heard reports that, well, first of all, I know for certain back then they were reading radioactive activity in Sweden, Norway, and Finland, all the way down there, all the way up there. They were radioactive. And the people who were coming out of Chernobyl were radioactive because it was on their body, on their hair. So when they came in, they brought in radioactivity. So, yeah, okay, there are positives. But one mistake, and you just caused a calamity of the proportions that you can never recover from. And when I say never recover, 20,000 years is never recover. Because none of us or our grandkids or our great grandkids are going to be around in 20,000 years. We're talking about generations that we can't even imagine. So you weigh the good and the bad. Now, to me, and my way of thinking is 79, 86, and then Fukushima in 2011. That's three almost. And well, Chernobyl wasn't almost. Chernobyl actually happened. That's three possible nuclear accidents since 1979. Those aren't great odds. Those aren't great odds because one more, and if it's a full breakdown, you got a big problem. Because again, if 3 Mile Island went, you would have lost Pennsylvania, probably Ohio, New Jersey, Delaware, and even the surrounding areas would have probably had some radioactivity problems. Water supply destroyed around the East Coast. Awful. Right. Here's another one. Some people say, I love riding my motorcycle without a helmet. It's fun. Wind in my hair. It's exciting. It gives me adrenaline rush. That's a great thing, right? When you get an adrenaline rush, you feel great. You feel excited. But one accident and you hit your head, you're dead. You're not coming back from that. Right? You're driving your bike at 55 miles an hour. You hit a slick water slick and the front wheel wobbles and you go head over heels. You're done. It's over. So yeah, there was a positive. You had a rush and you might do it 1,000 times. You get away with it 1,000 times. It's 1,001 where you didn't get away with it. Yeah. You had fun the 1,000 times. It was great. Wonderful. But it was a catastrophic ending because that's the way it is. A head cannot survive that kind of damage. So as I turn to AI, I think of the same things. What can AI do for us? Well, AI could go in, and if we had a nuclear accident, you could send AI robots in to clean it up so that people wouldn't have to be exposed to radioactivity at enormous levels. Okay, that would be a good thing. AI, some positives from AI. Let me see what other ones they list here. Efficiency and productivity. Now that's a good thing, right? Efficiency and productivity. That's a good one. You can analyze data faster and you can operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week because it doesn't need to sleep. That's great. Reduced human error is listed. Okay. As I said, performing dangerous tasks, handling hazardous materials, working in disaster zones. Radioactivity is mentioned in here. It can be tailored to your own specific needs. Improve decision making. Those are all good things. I'm not saying AI is all bad. Those are good things. But then you got the bad things. Improved productivity, good. Everybody losing their job, bad. So, companies are going to wind up firing a ton of people because they don't need them. They'll have AI to do whatever they want it to do. I teach people, and let's set the record straight right now. When you're in upper management in a company, you don't do the work. You delegate the work. The work that most upper management does is their work is to make more contacts, build more business, golf, go on trips, bring people in. They're the money people. They're the people that go out and they cultivate relationships and they make deals and stuff like that. They do not make pivot tables. They do not do formulas in Excel. They do not do any of that. They delegate that to other people. What happens when you now can talk into ChatGPT or Copilot and say, I have 35,000 rows of data, and I would like to know in the Northeast how many computers we sold when the price of the computer was greater than $10,000. And it spits it out like that. Why do you need an administrative assistant, or why do you need people to work under you to do that? You just told the computer what to do. Why do you need a chef? Or well, you need chefs, but a cooking teacher, somebody who teaches culinary arts. You don't need it. I can get a picture of a cookie loaded up in the AI. It'll say, oh, it looks like a chocolate chip cookie. Would you like the recipe? I type in yes. Boom, shoots out the recipe. Now, that's on the one end, it seems like, oh, that's pretty cool. And yeah, I guess it is. It's pretty cool. But then what do you do with the people who teach this stuff? Like, my job's in jeopardy now. What I do for a living, people are going to need it eventually. I hope that's a while, but at the pace it's moving, it's pretty quick. Because you can just ask ChatGPT and tell it what to do, or in Microsoft's case, Copilot, and tell Copilot, I want to do this, I want to do that. How about in the medical industry? Artificial intelligence. You can make artificial bodies with artificial organs where surgeons could practice operating. Now, obviously, you can't practice operate on human beings, but you can practice operate on an AI body with a fake heart and a fake liver, but you make it as realistic as a human one, and you're not hurting anyone. And these doctors are learning how to operate and with real tools in real life experiences, just without real people. That's a plus. That's a plus. But then you're going to have people who, when they have to write a thesis and they're a doctor and they're writing their thesis to first get their PhD, they just run it through ChatGPT. I don't know what to write about, so I'll just blast out a paper using AI. Now, do you want doctors that are not educated enough because they cheated their way to the top to become a doctor who's going to take care of you if you're injured or you're sick? Is that what you want? Yeah, I don't. I don't want that at all. So the loss of jobs, the loss of being able to do things, because now human beings won't need to do it anymore. These self-driving cars that we have now. People might not realize that. Some people don't even know that we have self-driving cars. We do. We have self-driving cars. Now, they're not in the Philadelphia area that I've seen, and maybe they are, and I just haven't seen it. But my sister just came back from Arizona, and they jumped in a self-driving car. There was no driver in the car. This is now getting into what you would see in like Back to the Future movies and stuff like that. We have now hit that part of human existence. And I don't care how much you tell me that that's great and that's wonderful and that's exciting. Yeah, it is. But at what cost? What is the cost? Is the benefit worth the risk? Again, a guy who, I can't remember his name, and just to be transparent, but he's on the front lines of AI, and they asked him the two questions. How excited are you, 1 to 10, on artificial intelligence? And he said a 10. And they asked him, how excited or fearful are you of artificial intelligence? And he said a 10. Now, is it worth it? If you ask me my opinion, and I'm not telling you what to think, you have to make your own decisions. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's too dangerous. If it gets into the wrong hands, what do? Ethical concerns, right? They talk about ethical concerns. Piracy, misuse of the technology. Case in point, 2 robots were created. 2 robots. They put them together. 2 robots, artificial intelligence. Wonderful. We have these 2 robots right next to each other. Great. The 2 robots developed a language that only they could understand. Now, you're going to say, you're crazy. That doesn't make sense. Look it up. Look it up. It's real. So you had 2 robots that are now talking to each other back and forth. And you don't know what they're saying because it's a language that you don't know. No human being knows it. Made it up. Because they have superior brain power than we do. Because the artificial intelligence, like a calculator, you can't do what a calculator can do. You can't add numbers as fast as a calculator. I can't. Nobody can. So what happens if those 2 robots decide that they want to detonate a nuclear bomb? What if those 2 robots decide that they want to mow down people in a car? What if they decide to go rogue? And I mean, it sounds like now I'm being a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm not. I'm not. I don't believe in a lot of the I believe that what happened is probably what happened. Like when people say 9/11, they weren't real planes or what? No, they were real planes. They were real people. We know it because we know the family. In order to pull off a scheme like that would be impossible because you'd have to have so many people buy in and not spill the beans. That would be millions of people involved in that. There's no way that 9/11 wasn't 4 planes that were overtaken. It's just not possible. People don't like to believe that because it's a terrible thing, and it's easier to say, well, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was hologram and stuff like that. No, it wasn't. But in this case, yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know. I'm just like that guy said. He's the expert. I'm not the expert on AI. He's got a 10 out of 10 fear of it. So Is it worth the risk? Now, I don't know who's watching tonight, but if you want to chime in and tell me, do you think it's worth the risk? Do you think it's okay? How about emotional intelligence? How about creativity? How about empathy? Where is that going to come from? How do you replicate that? How do you replicate empathy? How do you replicate spirituality? How do you replicate emotional intelligence? You don't. All you could do is make robots. It's getting out of control. And it's scary. And it's putting our future in jeopardy. Where does it end? Who's governing this? How do we stop it if it gets out of control? I don't think, from what I'm seeing and reading, that this is something that is known well enough. We're in uncharted territory here. We're in a place that we don't know exactly what the outcome is going to be, and it has the potential to be catastrophically bad. Now, I'm not trying to be pessimist here. I'm being honest with you. I'm telling you what I think. When I hear an expert say that he's got a fear 10 out of 10, that makes me think, because you would think he would play that down because he's a part of building it. He'd say, it's a 2. I mean, no big deal. No, he said 10. He said 10. They had a fight, an MMA fighter, human being, fight an MMA robot. How do you think that went? The MMA fighter, how's he going to hurt a robot? I mean, you break it, but it's so reinforced and so strong, you're not going to hurt that thing. It doesn't feel pain. So you can punch it in the face, punch it in the head, punch it in the belly. You can land all your punches all you want. You're not going to hurt it. But it lands one punch on you, and it's 5 times the power of a normal human being. You need reconstructive facial surgery. So, again, why would you step in the ring with something that you can't beat? It'd be like me trying to say, well, here's a car coming down the street. They're driving too fast. I'm going to slow them down, jump in front of the car, put my hands out and block them. They'll roll right over me. They're not going to stop. I'm not going to get in their way. This is what I'm talking about. These are the things that are scary. We're building things that are out of control. And that's the key part of it. That it's out of control. There is no controlling this. I've seen. It wasn't a news station. It was more like not a tabloid station, but it was a show that was talking about relationships. And now you can actually build, and this is so disgusting to me. You can actually build a partner in AI and have them come up on the screen and be, obviously they're not standing next to you. They're on a screen and you're on another screen, but they will react to you in a sexual way if you want to do that. Now think about how sick that is. It's not a human being. You're literally building what looks like a human being to your specifications. You want blue eyes. If you're a guy, you want a blue-eyed girl with long blonde hair, and whatever turns you on. You dress her the way you want to. And now, are you having a relationship, or are you talking to a robot? You're talking to a robot. That's not human. Humans aren't made to be that way. And vice versa. If a woman did it and built some buff guy and he's got a chiseled stomach, he's not real. So what are you doing? That's what I'm talking about with emotional intelligence, with spiritual intelligence. This is not how we're supposed to be. This is not the way life was meant to be. When you go on dating sites, I've been on dating sites since I got separated. I stopped because you don't know what's real and what's fake. And I will tell you that most of it's fake. I can't tell you how many times, and it frustrates me every time. And that's why I stopped, because for my own mental health, I stopped doing it. When, woman after woman, and it could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be anybody from anywhere, says, hey, I'd like to meet you, blah, blah, blah. You talk, you say, hey, it would be great to meet you. And then, a week into the conversation, they ask you questions like, so how are you into crypto? And what's your portfolio in crypto? And I write back, I have no interest in crypto whatsoever. And they write back, why not? Crypto is the greatest. And that's right there is where it ended. Done. Or they'll send you videos that are probably faked. And they'll say things like, really want to meet you, looking forward to meeting you, and you seem like a great person. They'll compliment you, you're so handsome, you're such a nice person, and all this stuff. And then you just wait for the other shoe to drop. And this happened to me for the last 2 weeks. I talked to somebody. I was hoping that she was real. I was hoping maybe I'm wrong this time. Maybe, just maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's real. And on Saturday morning, it finally came. Because I was leery to begin with, but I was hoping I was wrong. And she said, my computer internet connection is not working real well, and I need to transfer money to my offshore account. Can you help me? Come on. Now, will some people fall for it? Yeah. I'm not that some people. I'm not going to fall for it. Was I annoyed? Yeah. Because I wanted to be wrong. I wanted to believe that there are some people out there, and there are people out there that are legitimately good people that are just looking to find somebody and to be with somebody and to at least be friends, if not in an intimate relationship. But it's frustrating when it's over and over and over again with people who are either fake people, not real, or they are real people who hijack other people's Facebook page. I have a friend. She's a beautiful, beautiful girl. Beautiful, model looking, beautiful girl. Somebody stole her identity. They made a Bumble account for her. And now she gets hit with hundreds, if not thousands of guys that are trying to seduce her, make advances, send inappropriate pictures to her. She didn't do anything wrong. She put a picture of herself up on the internet with her kids, like anybody else does. Or she had a photo shoot because she's a model, and now people are exploiting that and making something out of it that it's not, and she's paying a price for that. Now, is that fair? Is that how we're going to live our lives now? That everything's going to be robotic? Everything's going to be crypto, Bitcoin. We're not going to have money in our pocket. We're not going to have any human transactions. Everything's going to be automatic. Everything's going to be artificial. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? In my opinion, I blow the damn thing up. I'll be honest with you. It's frustrating to me. And I'm scared. I really am afraid, because I am the first time in my life, after growing up in the city of Philadelphia, being a street kid, having a father who is a lawyer, who grew up in Philadelphia, was a street kid, and taught me a lot, and I learned a lot. I am now in the position where I can't discern what's real and what's fake, where I had the ability to do that like that. When I'm on the street, I know what's going on behind me, in front of me, next to me, all over the place. Why? Because I have street smarts, because I know what human beings do. We are in a world now where I'm afraid now, because I don't know. I can't tell what's real and what's fake. And there's got to be a way to stop this. If I seem annoyed, I am, because my kids are going to have to grow up in this world where we're not going to know who to trust, when to trust them. This is getting out of hand. And if somebody doesn't step in soon and fix this, we're going to have a Chernobyl on our hands, or a Fukushima, and we're not going to recover. And that's the truth. That's not to scare you. I'm telling you the truth. So I know we're out of time, but it's been on my mind. It's been, it's happened to me a few times. I don't fall for the sucker bait. Other people do to the tunes of billions of dollars. Stop it. Start going out, start going to restaurants, start going to events, meet people face to face. Stop with the internet. The internet is starting to get crazy. 2 comments from sure. Let's take the comments. Frankie James, the guy who saved the tournament. You don't know. Or don't you know? How we doing, Paisan? Doing good, Frankie. Doing good. A little worried about the there's Jenny. Let's say the laws have changed. When caught, they can be federally charged, but it can take years. Gloucester County Police just made an arrest on a guy who was doing something similar. Anyways, yes, online you have no clue who is real and who is fake. We must always use discernment and get good at it. Then we have to protect our children. Jenny, I couldn't agree with you more. The problem that I have is, how do you figure out that discernment? How in the hell do we figure out who's real and who's not on the internet? One of the things I will tell you, I know we're almost out of time. We are out of time. But just to answer Jenny's point, one of the things you got to do is say, talk to me on the phone. Make a phone call. If they will not call you on the phone and have a phone conversation, cut it off. Because they're fake. It's not real. Anybody who says, I don't know you well enough to have a phone call, is ridiculous. That's not a marriage proposal. It's a phone call. So yes, we have to use discernment. What I'm afraid of is, do we know enough to discern to the point where we're safe? Jenny's a very smart person. She is very into that, very attuned to all of that, and that's great. But as the technology continues to grow, it's going to get harder and harder. And the more we get smarter and start to learn how to discern, the people who are hijacking it are just going to be one step ahead all the time. And that's the sad part. Kill it. AI is not worth it. AI is not worth it. So I hate to be a pessimist, but I'm just giving it to you straight, like I do every week. All right. So I want to thank Frankie James. I want to thank Jenny K. Di, for commenting today. I want to thank Dr. Jacqueline for allowing me to talk about this. And hopefully we'll get more people next time to talk about it. I think it's a big topic, and I think it needs to be addressed. And if people don't start addressing it, we got a problem. All right. So I will see you next week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and continue to watch this station. A lot of great things happening on USA Global TV and Radio. Bye-bye, everybody.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
Have you ever felt unheard? Like your words float into a void, leaving you invisible and disconnected? How about feeling judged, when assumptions overshadow your truth, leaving you misunderstood and defensive? And then there's that moment when someone offers solutions you never asked for. dismissing your feelings and leaving you more frustrated than before. It doesn't have to be this way. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the listening mentor, understands. She's here to help you reclaim your voice, build stronger connections, and create meaningful conversations that inspire understanding and mutual respect. Through her groundbreaking books, online and in-person courses, and interactive workshops, you'll learn how to navigate life's most challenging interactions. Discover the power of elevated listening and transform how you communicate. Master setting boundaries and asking permission to protect your peace. Learn to recognize and release judgment, fostering empathy and true connection. Dr. Kerbeck also offers personalized coaching, one-on-one or group sessions designed to fit your unique needs. Whether in person or virtually on StreamYard, her guidance will empower you to thrive. You don't have to struggle alone. The path to deeper connections and better relationships start here. Visit drjacqueline.com or usaglobaltv.com. Join a global community of empowered listeners and transform your life, one meaningful conversation at a time. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck is the listening mentor. Start your journey today. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.